Well, here's something you might want to serve as you're setting up the tree. It is a different take on spanakopita, and it is today's daily dish. Here's what you'll need if you're following along. You need some phyllo sheets, olive oil, some cooked spinach, feta cheese, parmigiana, egg, salt and pepper, and 20 cloves of garlic. Hold on, do I need my glasses? Did I read that right? 20 cloves of garlic? Randy, what's going on here?
You got to keep those werewolves away. Absolutely. You know, Tracy, with this spanakopita, I'm always like, yeah, I don't bake a lot, and if I am, I'm really not probably going to make my own pastry unless it's really, really special. And I always feel that phyllo is just that pastry you can pull out of the freezer, you can cheat with it, you can throw it together, and it feels like fancy, you know what I mean? Like when you see it at a party, you're like, oh, this is a celebration.
I agree with that 100%.
You know, we can have a bit more fun with the things that we're going to put inside, and we can make that a bit of a celebration. So I've got 20 cloves of garlic. And now normally you see butter with the phyllo, but today we're going to go olive oil instead, because I believe it's a cleaner fat with this dish. What we want to do is just take that olive oil where it's almost covering all that garlic. A small pot's probably best for it because you don't get as much olive oil in there. And I put that on the stove on medium heat for like 10 to 15 minutes until it roasts sweet and brown. Check that out. And then we're going to use this oil to lube up our phyllo. Do you call it phyllo or phyllo, Tracy?
I don't know what I just said, but I think I said phyllo. But every time I look at the word, I'm like, is it phyllo or is it phyllo? What is it? I don't know. I think both count.
Listen, it looks like phyllo, but I'm being told right now with some big eyes that it's phyllo. So we're gonna go with phyllo because
Got it.
Catherine's normally right with this stuff.
She knows. We don't. She knows.
So we got some spinach that we've wilted with some salt and pepper, some feta. I mean, feta might be one of the most marvelous cheeses in the world, just salty goodness. We're gonna get an egg in there just to kind of hold everything together. And then the other binder we're gonna use is a great big whack of Parmesan. And I mean, like the recipe's there. If you're gonna use 19 cloves of garlic, I'm cool with that. If you're gonna use half a cup of Parmesan, that's okay. But if you wanna go a cup, if you feel daring, like your family can do that, then by all means, fill your boots. But
advice.
what you're looking for is basically something that is going to be kind of smooth and kind of like to go in, not too wet. When I cooked that spinach out, I kind of pressed it down, and that way we can get all the moisture out because we don't want that phyllo to be too wet. So now, the beautiful stuff about this dough is I've got it on the counter. We just had some towels on it so it doesn't dry out. So it's ready to go. So I've got 2 sheets and 2 sheets, so 4 sheets altogether. And then what I'm gonna do is take that roast garlic oil and just, what's the story? Does this not start to look like a celebration, Tracy?
Absolutely, it's party time. It is party time.
It is definitely party time. And the kids would be good like this. You know, if they like food, they probably like making a mess. And this is the perfect thing to be making a mess. You just kind of spray it around everywhere like that and let it soak in a little bit. Now the garlic that's left in here, guess what? Those 20 cloves, they're gonna go right into this mixture and just give it a little bit more moisture on the inside.
But did you actually put the whole cloves in there?
Right in there like that. Oh. Because you know what? They're gonna be soft, and you can, if you see on my fingers, it just kind of like, oh. So when you hit that, like it's just gonna be this special little surprise and you're gonna be like, oh my, what was going on there?
Okay.
So now we're gonna take this and we're gonna fold it up in half. Oh yeah, now we got something going on. And then guess what? Some more of that garlic olive oil.
Rand, while you're doing that, do you care what the temperature of the phyllo is? Like, do you want it to be cold? Do you want it to be room temperature? What is it going to make it work best?
Oh, that is a really good point. I pull it out like an hour ahead of time. I put it from the freezer, because normally you buy it frozen, into the fridge overnight, and then I pull it out about 45 minutes to an hour, because room temperature is best, but you want to keep a towel over it if you're not working with it, because it's the problem is, Tracy, is it does dry out.
Okay.
And that is kind of the enemy here. So that's why we use lots of olive oil. We can have a bit of mixture, a bit of moisture in here, but you don't want it too wet. It's kind of like a perfect little balance. And you can see now those roast garlic cloves in there.
Yeah, baby.
So here comes the fun part. So now we take this and we just roll it up, right?
Okay.
And we tuck it like this. So we've got a great big cigar now. That's what we're doing. We're rolling up cigars. If you have a kink, that's okay. We're going to do that like this. And now we're just going to take it and we're going to kind of like spin it around on its own and fold it up like this.
Like a big snail.
Right? Like a big old snail. Now, I maybe should have let this one wait just a little bit more, but as the phyllo comes apart, that's okay. We're gonna do a second one and go around that one, but we're not gonna look at that one because that one kind of like doesn't look nearly as pretty as the reveal.
Roll, please.
We're gonna bake this in.
That one's perfection.
For 35 minutes. That one, you know what? I guess the secret is you should let the mixture rest inside the phyllo for just like a few minutes before you start spinning it, and you'll get a much better design. So then what I'm going to do is just take a knife, and this is like a spinach kind of pie. Oh my
Gee, that looks good.
stars. You know, Uncle Barry's going to have 2 portions of this, so you might want to make 2 pans of it. Now you can use a cast iron pan, a cake pan, anything you want, but what you really need to do is put a fork into it. Oh, it's still steaming.
I love it. Tell Catherine we're both going to work on our pronunciation of all the words. And that recipe is at cityline.tv. Look at his face. It's amazing. Make it, everyone. Thank you.